bet. No, Judith will get that slack out.
It was a bad idea. Welcome to day 3 recap of our PCA trade show and convention, New Orleans, Louisiana. Of course, we'll talk about our sponsors here in a minute. I've got some very nice things to say about them, of course, because they're great people, just in general, as opposed to this motley crew of fucks up here on the dais. To the far,
what is this? We got to write you a check for you to say we're decent people.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could write. I don't know if you could write enough checks. To my far left,
I can write
you will
one.
see our content director, Randy Carmichael. Randy, welcome to the live.
We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, already a shit show.
Directed.
Well, this shit show.
Yeah, no.
What'd you call me? It was fighting words.
To my immediate left, you'll see my friend Jimmy Daling from the drawing room. Jimmy, welcome back. You'll
You're friends now.
We're friends, right?
Yeah. That's weird.
Fucking fuck. To my right, Tim Allen, friend, confidant, anchovy on my pizza, whatever.
Because nobody likes anchovies. I do, but most people don't.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, James.
I think we're all a little punch drunk.
You're just saucy, and I am not going to take it. You petty diva.
The end of the show has come.
I am indeed a petty diva. This is the first time we've had Randy on, so I want to get Randy's take on this year's PCA trade show first. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. It was very tiring. I know he's not going to have complimentary things to say about me, so you should all enjoy this. Randy, go ahead. What are some of your thoughts on this year's trade show?
I had a good time. I like New Orleans as a venue. I think you guys covered the opening party was the best. I think most of the people we talked to, the the exhibitors and all that echoed those comments, that a lot of them liked it. A few of them said the food was a problem, that they were going to have a hard time flying home. They might need a seatbelt extender.
I don't think that's a problem.
Well, it all depends on whether they have enough extenders to go around on the plane. A lot of walking, a lot of wandering around, a lot of networking, we're going to call it. But overall, a good time.
Yeah, good time. I would agree with that.
I was this morning. PCA press conference was at 9 o'clock in the morning.
10 o'clock.
10?
10.
There was a total of 8-9 people in the room.
Yeah,
which I thought was kind of a slap in the face to the PCA.
I think everybody was confused on what time it was going to happen.
If James and I, with our 2 brain cells fighting for like there can be only one, can make it there at 9. I think anybody should have been able to make it there at 9. And I think the PCA is very gracious by letting us come to this. This isn't for media. We're a value add. It's not for media, nor should they cater to us. And I think it was a slap into the face, especially with the concessions they've given to some very outspoken Coop people in the media about what they wanted access-wise and everything. And then those individuals not to show up at the press conference. I think that was not as classy as you should act.
Because of who you mentioned, we did speak to them during the show, and there was confusion on the actual time. Because even when we did the closeout day, I thought it was either 10:45 or 2:45. Ended up being 10.
It ended up being 10. There's a lot there to unpack with what Randy has said. And so we're not going to unpack any of it. Jimmy.
Cool story, bro. Moving along.
Yeah, moving along.
Well, now we know how Randy's day started.
Yeah, we really do. I remember my first cigar too, Jimmy. How was day 3 for you? We know what day 0 looked like for you and day 1, but this was your first trade show that you went to, and you were, I don't want to say lucky enough, because there are pros and cons to both, but you went as both media and as retailers. You're one of the owners of the Drawing Room in Davenport, Iowa. What were your thoughts on your inaugural trade show?
I felt like day 3 was a really good day because I didn't have any work that cost me money. So I was able to kind of just relax.
That work didn't make him money either.
Did you have any money left, Jimmy?
No, I did not.
he lost it all at the tables.
They were in New Orleans, Las Vegas.
He went all in.
To be fair,
didn't
day
work out
1
on the river.
Had no money left. But
I heard somebody was going to give him favorable terms.
We're in
I felt like day 3, there was just a different atmosphere with kind of like the end coming. And a lot of people just seemed more loose, ready to get out of there, but still kind of enjoyed the whole weekend. And so I felt like it was a good wrap up. I feel like some of the best conversations that we had were today. And so I got to meet some.
Were you following Tim and Nick around?
No,
I wasn't.
He said best conversations. He was with us most of the day.
Oh. So it was the best conversation between you and Randy.
we did have some great conversations.
You did. You really did. Tim,
James,
you're a grizzled veteran now of these PCA trade shows. This is our 5th year going, you and I. What were your thoughts on day 3?
I was actually really shocked because I think when we were working our way to the trade show, and we seemed to take 7 times longer than usual just because of traffic. Like, traffic was crazier today than it has been.
It was also Monday.
Sure. We were all thinking that, everybody's
Oh, you meant floor traffic, not.
No, I meant
car
like
traffic.
being in car traffic. It took longer to get there.
Oh, yeah,
There was Monday,
Monday,
but we were all kind of anticipating that people were going to be packing up, going home. Like, it was just going to be dead on the floor. There wasn't going to be much to do. And much to our surprise, a lot of people were still there, and people were in very good spirits.
Yeah, normally people are zombies.
Yeah,
walking around.
There was a little bit of zombie.
There was a few,
but
as there should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would agree.
Present party included.
Yeah, no, I would agree with everything that's been said, excluding some of Randy's initial comments. I can't remember a trade show, and Randy, you've gone to most of these with us.
All but one.
Yeah, where day 3 was this busy.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think it was set up differently. It was elongated, like we had talked about. It was more of a rectangular shape than a square shape, and it's elongated. And Jimmy and I had the conversation where there was the main drag, and then there was the Island of Misfit Toys in the back. And that was some actually really good cigar manufacturers were back there, but they had weird different booth sizes and how they give out those spots around points, how much they've spent, how many years they've attended. So you can be a great cigar manufacturer, but you can not get preferential booth space, depending on size. And they have
depending on the size of the booth.
That's why Drew Estate was able to plop right down in the middle of their first year back. Hopefully they lost all of their points, but they were still able to get that giant booth centralized in Vegas their first year back because they spent a lot of money on a giant booth, so they should get preference.
Honestly, Drew Estate can be in the front, the back, in the middle, the back left, back right.
It's hard to avoid the paint store booth thing.
Yeah,
but the Island of Misfit Toys seemed a little slack, but if you got in the main aisle, it was still pretty brisk, quite a bit of foot traffic. I know I believe it took the crowd a day or so to make it to the back, because I think we have some acquaintances that did pretty well on that back row on the last day.
Some friends, some sponsors. Speaking of sponsors, all of our PCA trade show coverage has been brought to you by smallbatchcigar.com. Smallbatchcigar.com. Aficionados know, enthusiasts know, and now you know. Smallbatchcigar.com. With all of these PCA trade show releases, all the new releases from all of these companies that came and exhibited here in New Orleans. How are you going to keep up with it? Obviously, you're going to watch these lives. You're going to watch all of our content. You're going to probably read a lot of Half Wheel, and you know what? You're going to go to smallbatchcigar.com and you're going to buy them. That's where you're going to buy them. You're going to use coupon code Stogies, 10% off, bonus 5% reward points. Bank those reward points now, because if your partner, your wife, your spouse, your husband, your kids, your sister, your brother-in-law, your birthday's coming up, maybe the holidays are coming up, they're going to fuck up your gift. They are. They're going to get you a bullshit tie or a fucking coffee mug or like shit cigars you didn't want. If you want to avoid that awkward, thanks, and just be thankful that you got something from these ingrates in your life, go to smallbatchcigar.com, bank those reward points and spend them on yourself. Treat yourself. That way you're always happy and you can accept these shit gifts and it'll be fine. Aficionados know, enthusiasts know, and now you know. Smallbatchcigar.com. God, that was a wild one.
You could use that as a hedge against the tariffs.
Fucking listen to the man to the far left. Hedge against the tariffs.
I've
now.
Never heard him say
90-day pause. Like, go get your cigars now, and you're going to save 10%. Absolutely, I'm using that from now. I'm stealing that motherfucker. Smallbatchcigar.com. Avoid the tariffs while you can.
In perpetuity.
Because you're going to get 10% off from the coupon code.
5% rewards.
And bonus 5% reward.
Yeah.
So,
sound financial advice.
God damn, that was hot. All of our fucking coverage of PCA trade show is also sponsored by our friends at Mild Kentucky Herf, May 9th and 10th. It's always a second weekend in May. Look, we've talked about this ad nauseum. My guys there, Dwight Adkins, Stephen Ray, they put on a fantastic show. It's a multi-vendor event done by Fat Ash Cigar Lounge. There are lounges around the area, and even as far as, dare I say, Tim, Iowa, that will close their shop, close the doors for that weekend, and make the trek to Ashland, Kentucky, in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
But correct me if I'm wrong. You also get 10% off if you bring in a verified Sasquatch photo. They're the home of Sasquatch.
The Appalachians?
Yeah.
Really?
They're like
I thought it was out west.
That's why when you go there, there are Sasquatches everywhere. Have you not noticed it?
I'm glad he's not around when I'm doing the podcast to interrupt every read-in I'm trying to do. I mean, he had some gold there, but this one, not so much.
My mind is blown.
How do you not even... It's their logo.
You're going to get for $250, you're going to get 30 premium hand-rolled cigars. You're going to be able to walk in the door. Look, Drew Estate's going to be there early on Saturday. They're going to have a tailgate, but look, if this is a 2-day event, Friday registration party, you're going to be able to pick up your bag, your T-shirts, some of your swag. You're going to pick up all kinds of stuff. But here's the thing. You get to sit down and have cigars and a nice meal. I believe it's from Woo's Q, which you've had Woo's Q. Yeah, you, on the end.
I drink a lot, James.
It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. You don't want to miss this. And then, of course, Saturday, the main event, Mile Kentucky Herf. There's going to be panels, live panels. There's going to be blenders, principals, lots of folks that you get to rub shoulders with, including the likes of Nick Sirix, Greg and motherfucking Free. I believe Tom Lazuka from Asylum is going to be there. I don't have the list in front of me because we're in New Orleans and my computer's inside live streaming this. But there's going to be a lot on Instagram. Yeah. Thanks for.
Mine was better than that.
If any of you would like to come to the trade show and help me out, possibly run the IT side of things.
Please, dear God.
Follow me around with a camera. Please just send your resume to info@simplystogies.com. Just say, pick me, and you're hired. May 9th and 10th, Ashland, Kentucky, Boyd County Convention Center. Get your tickets now. Look, I'm telling you, the days away, hours probably at this point from not being able to get a pit pass. For $100, they're going to pull all your cigars together. They're going to put them in a bag for you so you don't have to wait in line. And you can go right to the table, sit in front of the stage, smoke, and enjoy the show, the entertainment, the panels. I can't give away everything that we're doing yet, but it's going to be amazing. Dwight and Steven have worked really hard on this. So, guys, Simply Stogies Universe, go do your thing. fatash.com/events. Let's get the rest of those tickets. Pick up your pit pass, and let's see you there May 9th and 10th, Ashland, Kentucky. Day 3, it was the busiest day 3 that I can remember. I think overall, I want to just take a beat here and give a lot of kudos to Joshua Bursky and company at the PCA. I think from top to bottom, I think there's 5 or 6 employees, 7 at the most.
7.
I think 7. Yeah. And they all did an absolutely fabulous job. They put on what is, in my opinion,
minus the single firework.
What is, in my opinion, what was the single firework?
He wants one. He just wanted at least one. He wanted an entire fireworks show. He said he'd settle for one. There wasn't even a bottle rocket.
No. Damn it. Sometimes city ordinances can't get around it. Laser beam. They have done a fantastic job this year. I want to give them some kudos publicly. I think that what they do is typically a thankless job. And they just get a lot of feedback about minor complaints and bullshit, and they didn't this year. I don't think there was one person that was unhappy with anything with the trade show, save for me and my rants about too many media and begging for cigars.
Yeah, but that's your opinion, man.
Thanks, buddy. So punch drunk. This is going to be the shittiest of all the shit shows we've ever done. But they just did a fantastic job. So I want to say personally thank you to Joshua Bursky. I had the opportunity to stop him on the show floor today. I didn't get a chance to get back to him. I wanted to do an interview with him. We're going to try to get him on the show soon so we can kind of wrap this all up in a nice little bow. But they did a fantastic job. So kudos to them. Thank you for putting on what I think is one of the better shows in many years. Now, we talked about traffic on day 1. We talked about traffic on day 2. We've talked a little bit about traffic on day 3. Overall, it seems that opinions are split on whether the floor traffic was good or bad overall. Some people say it was slow. Some people say it was super busy. I don't know. Tim,
I think
start with you.
I think it depends on the day, the time, and where you're located on the trade show floor. If you're walking in the front and you go right, you end up at the food hall, the cafeteria, so to speak, the $30 sandwich and a Coke, and you take a left and you end down at the end of the row, and there's some companies and some businesses down there that are just island of misfits, right? Like, people are going to tend to congregate from the center out.
Let me stop you for just a second. I don't.
You asked me a question.
I did.
Okay.
I don't like and I understand what was said in kind of jest.
I haven't said it at all tonight.
No, you haven't. I haven't. But you were the originator of this.
I originate a lot of ideas
you
off
really
camera.
do off camera. The Island of Misfit Toys, I think, is a little bit misleading. When there are booths like, and I'm going to sneeze here in a second, so I apologize. Well, maybe not. Booths like Cavalier at the back, Drew Estate was at the back, Postania,
they're not even in that category.
But then you got guys selling a toothpick to stick in your cigar to smoke it with.
It doesn't matter what who the manufacturer is, or what the company is, or what they're selling, or what they're doing. When you get all the way on one end or the other, you're just naturally not going to get a whole lot of traffic out there. That's what we're saying.
I beg to differ. Greg Free, driving the train, because guess what? He got busy at lunchtime every day.
Motherfucking Free.
That is great, motherfucking Free. He did. Look, here's the thing. This is my opinion. It is a point system on where you can kind of put your booth based on a couple different factors. But with Greg Free, he was kind of, at first, he was very happy with his booth space. And then when they kind of changed where the food court was going to be, he kind of got a little bit screwed. So he had two options. His first option was, I'm at the end of this train. No one's going to come see me. And I got to look at the food court all day long. Right?
11 o'clock it opens. That's where everybody starts going.
Yeah, and go, oh, woe is me. I am in a bad spot. What am I going to do? Boo-hoo. And instead, he did what everybody should do in this situation, is look at the bright side and go, well, if you look at it the other way, I'm running this motherfucking train.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to make the best of this shit sandwich that I can. And he did. And he told me when we talked with him at day one, which you'll see that video here in a few short days, that it was the best day one he's had of any trade show. So I understand what you're all saying. I do. I get it from a certain point of view, but it's all about what you make it. Now, we talked to several booths in the back in that area of the floor today, and they were very happy with what they got, and the amount of traffic, the amount of business that they received. But they were like, oh, there's a couple booths back here that had zero sales, zero. Ow. And when we were at the press conference, Josh asked media, specifically those of us that showed up,
9 of us,
the media specifically, to highlight some of these smaller brands that don't have a lot of foot traffic, that first time at the show. Essentially, I wouldn't say pleading, but he was like, media, go do your goddamn job. Well, and cover the booths. And look, we've always prided ourselves here at Simply Stogies that we do cover the little guy, the boutique guy, the craft guy, and not just your usual suspects. And so I feel like we did do our job. We are expanding, and we've got interviews with Perdomo, not Nick Perdomo, but his son, coming out soon. And remember, our theme this year was family. We did hit some of the bigger booths, and we got some of the bigger names in the industry to play along with us and have a little bit of fun. But at the same time, I think we've stayed true to our roots, and we interviewed quite a few boutique, craft, whatever you want to call it, manufacturers in the industry, and we'll continue to do so every year. I don't see that changing. We'll still hit the big guys, but we'll definitely still focus on the little guys, the boutique craft guys. where some folks, and I'm not going to mention names because that would be unprofessional.
Feel a cough coming on.
I hope you don't. Where they just there's a lot of just the I'm going to hang out with so and so, and this is what I'm going to do, and ha ha ha, rubbing shoulders with people, and oh look who I got to interview today. Oh fucking whoever, like and I don't think that does the industry any good. That's my personal opinion. It's just how I want to run my podcast. It's how I want to run things. I want to keep it positive most of the time, and just keep it moving. And other people can do whatever they want. I don't think in the end that does the industry any favors. Now, the flip side to that coin is, by me not covering a lot of the big guys, am I doing the industry any favors? Am I, excluding people on purpose? No, we have a finite amount of time on the floor. We do get 2 days where we have an hour early entry. That doesn't mean that all the principals are there, especially when you're dealing with the bigger names in the industry. Those principals tend to stroll in around 10 or 11 and know that that's when they've got appointments with retailers. And especially on a day like day 3, where the show floor opens up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Who's showing up at 8 o'clock in the morning? And we were talking with Cavalier this morning, Sebastian from Cavalier. He's like, I showed up at 8 o'clock in the morning. He's like, the show floor opened. I was here. There was nobody on the floor. He's like, so it was my first opportunity of the show to walk around, see other booths, talk to people I knew.
And good for him for taking advantage of that opportunity.
Absolutely. But after 2 days of, especially when it comes to everybody, media, retail, we're all walking around. The manufacturers are standing all day for 2 days in a row on, carpet on top of concrete, and their feet hurt and their legs are tired and their throats sore.
Did anybody else notice going from booth to booth? Like, it was almost kind of like the quality of padding. You go into one booth and it's like, I don't want to leave. This is so nice on my feet.
I wanted to take my shoes off a couple times. Like, oh yeah, that's really nice. I didn't.
I found that kind of funny.
Consummate professional. Not really, but I didn't take my shoes off. Yeah, so it's rough on everybody. It is a intense 3 days that revolve around this cylinder of dead leaves that we all love and appreciate so much, and we have a passion for. So yeah, 8 o'clock in the morning though on the last day, but ending it at 4.
That was nice.
Yeah, I kind of dug that. But again, if they open it at 10 and let media in at 9, it's only 6 hours. I don't know if that's enough, especially based on the foot traffic here on day 3. So, you can't make everybody happy. I think Josh said that today, Randy, in the press conference. You can't please everyone. And so You've got to make the best decisions you can in what is ostensibly a difficult situation. So there's bound to be compromise. But then, again, this administration has been very open, receptive to ideas, new ideas, to feedback, constructive or otherwise. And so kudos to them again for keeping an open mind and taking things to the board and letting the board decide. And it has served them well up to this point, and I am sure that will continue under Josh's direction. Tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, we'll have a podcast come out where you, myself, and Nick, which, by the way, if you're asking, where's Nick Cirrus? I don't see Nick Cirrus. I just like to watch for Nick Cirrus. He took a flight to get home to his family. We thank him for the work that he did here, but he was like, can I go? I'm like, yeah, you can go. Absolutely. Like,
it was either this flight or way later.
Like 10 a.m. tomorrow. And like, nah, man, just go. So we dropped him off at the airport. And he did a great job for us. Knocked it out of the park. I can't wait for you guys to see some of the interviews that he did. Him and Tim really pushed themselves this year. So I want to say thank you to you for just doing what you do, Tim.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Still trying to figure out what I do.
Oh, yeah. Some days I'm not sure.
Well, I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't sure if that was an affirmative or...
No, just agreeing with you.
Okay. Yeah. No, I appreciate the agreement. Let's talk overall show. I think it was a success for a great many companies. When I talk to smaller companies and they say, yeah, you know, we hit the target we wanted to hit. We're very happy with it. I think it overall it was a great show. I think it was well attended. I think everyone was doing business. Well, not everyone, obviously, but for the majority, were doing business. There were a lot of media covering this event. There were 60 outlets, and whether I think that's too many or not, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of places for cigar aficionados and cigar enthusiasts now to go find some of that content and see what's out there and see what these manufacturers are doing and see what their booths look like and why it's important. And it's important for many reasons that we talked about over the last couple of days. If you didn't miss those lives, you can go back and watch those lives. I think that it's always a tiring process, up early, up late, not a whole lot of sleep in between, kind of a deal. And it does kind of take a grind. And at 49, I sometimes ask myself, I'm going to be able to do it again next year. Randy is somebody who's similar in age to me. I don't want to out you, but similar in age.
He's 26.
Age.
Yeah.
You think maybe you can keep doing this for much longer?
We'll talk later.
So I said no, and I get it. I totally understand. It is a hard thing to do, and Randy kept me on task most of the time and kept trying to get me to do more, better, faster,
Stronger, better.
Not really stronger. I don't think that was really.
I got to take what I can get.
Yeah, it's not going to be a thing. But faster, more, better, and so I appreciate that aspect of it. Maybe not in the moment. A lot of fuck yous, a lot of fuck offs, a lot of I'm doing what I can, shut the fuck up. A lot of, you know, Jimmy, do you want to run a camera? Like a lot of those kind of
Jimmy,
things.
please run this fucking camera.
But I do appreciate it. And it kept me on track and got a lot of good content, a lot of good interviews for you guys coming up. Jimmy, on a scale of 1 to above ground graveyard, how tired are you? See, that was a New Orleans themed question.
I get it.
Thank you.
Mausoleums. Yeah, I get it.
Enjoy the veal, folks. He's here all week.
Tip your waitress.
Jesus.
For me, it's not so much tired. I am tired, and hopefully I get enough sleep that I can be coherent for the drive home. But
someone's got to keep Randy awake.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go sleep.
Yeah, my job is to keep the captain awake.
Okay.
But it's, for me, it was more of just like, frankly, just down in ibuprofen and just my ankles and feet just being sore from just nonstop. Because when I wasn't with you guys, I'm going back and forth to different booths, and then I meet up with you guys, and then we're going back and forth. Back and forth. So
back and forth.
So yeah, it's a lot of running around.
I'm going to hear this for months.
And then it doesn't end. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I told my wife when I called her, I was like, the reason, she's like, man, it seems like you're like working like nonstop. I'm like, well, I'm not working nonstop, but how much effort you guys have to put in? Because like your work
let me ask you, are you shocked now that you've kind of seen behind the scenes, so to speak, see how the sausage is made? Are you shocked at how much work goes into a podcast?
You're not eating sausage.
It's not even a podcast. It's the whole.
Yeah, after the show, like the whole.
What do you think a podcast does? Do you think we just flip a camera on and talk?
Yeah, that's why I've always sucked at it.
All right, well, fair enough, I guess.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you just turn the camera on.
You want it to be organic and natural and accessible. Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah, like I would have.
Wow. Shots fired.
I would have done like Blair Witch.
Yeah.
PCA.
The up the nose view with the camera. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I got to flip it around.
Just him.
But no, there's a lot of work that's, I mean, specifically you and Tim do that I just don't think a lot of people know happens behind the scenes.
Let's be fair. Mostly Tim.
And let's be extra fair. I think it's like all IT departments. You know, you call them, they're like, "Oh, we're so busy. We're playing Pong or whatever the kids play now," and they're like, "You turn it off and back on." Then they hang up.
Not scrolling OnlyFans.
And they're like, "We worked all night." It was actually they came in the middle of the night, worked for 5 minutes, and left. You know, I think there's a little bit of that going on too. It's only so long before AI.
Randy cannot stand it when either one of us get complimented on what we do.
He can't stand it when he gets compliments.
No, he really hates it. I think he hates compliments. But I appreciate what you're saying. It is a lot of work. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. If it wasn't fun, we wouldn't do it. And I do have a passion for it. And Tim obviously has a passion for it. And we do put a lot of work into this. So thank you for recognizing that, Jimmy.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, as a retailer, as a B&M owner, you had a lot of work as well. It was just a different type of work. You were walking.
I will say the big difference between being a retailer and media is I could have done everything I needed to do in a day and a half.
As a retailer.
As a retailer. Like I could have made.
Let's preface that. And this isn't meant to be degrading or to denigrate the drawing room, but
I'm not Cars International.
Yeah, as a small retailer.
I wouldn't say as a small retailer. I'd say as a retailer with a plan and a focus.
Yeah, that's what I was
not wandering around aimlessly.
Yeah.
With your suitcase.
At the end of the day, I didn't care about getting cigars. Right. Most of the time, I actually turned a couple cigars down, just because I'm like, dude, I have so many cigars right now. I don't need any. I didn't come here to get cigars from you.
Right.
Especially when I would go to booths that I knew I wasn't putting an order in for. I didn't want to waste their time. I just wanted to keep the relationship going. Like, hey, thanks for meeting with me. What are the deals? I'm probably not going to be able to buy anything. And I was in and out sometimes in like 10, 15 minutes. It was literally just catching up. Awesome to see you here at the trade show.
Right. That's the part of building relationships,
Exactly.
Right? Yep. This year, you're not the right fit for me, but I build that relationship over 2 or 3 or 4 years. Hey, you know what? Now's the time I need you in my shop. And you've already established that relationship, which is going to make that purchase that much easier.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And for a smaller shop, a lot of times it's, yeah, that's an awesome deal. I can't take advantage of that right now. But in 2 months, I'm going to call you to put, an order in. So.
And every shop situation is different. Yep. And but retailers, you guys do have a hard job. You have to pick and choose. You hope you choose correctly for your customers, knowing what they smoke based on their preferences and trends that you see in your shop right before you go, and like for the year past. So it is. There's a lot of work and forth that go into it. Randy, you, as I've said, you've been doing this for a majority of the time we've been doing this. I think you only missed 21. Has it gotten harder or easier for you as we've grown? Okay.
Oh, you've always been like
he's always
and had bad knees.
Have you met me?
Yeah. Okay.
Knees since I was like 20. Lord.
Okay, so I appreciate that.
No, it's the one thing that's nice, Randy, is that when you come to the trade show and you do this and you're watching us and you're like, why are you making things 5 times more difficult than what it used to be? Yeah. And I really do value that.
I'm efficient.
I value all that feedback. And I'm like, yeah, we need to do this. You're right. We need to make this efficient. And we talk about it, and then we get on the trade show floor.
And we don't do any of that.
And it just all falls apart. And
Tim and I had a conversation
and this is
yesterday. And we're in the trust tree, though, so nobody can ask us about it.
Well, I'm kind of...
No, you're fine. You're fine. We're still...
Telling stories in our class.
You're still in the trust tree. Yeah. You're still in the trust tree. Broad strokes.
You can go... we both know you can go into an event with a well-defined plan. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Then you get in there and just... all that shit you lose your mind. Everything just goes all over the place. These people
of war.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, we've done it where we're like, we're going to make a list and we're going to hit this list.
Yeah.
And you go in there and you don't do anybody on that list. We've done it where we're going to go in there, we're going to split up and we're going to do quadrants and we're going to knock this out. We go in there and
everybody
is wandering around, or it's a large cluster wandering around. So we're going to go do cold opens and like Some people just don't do them.
Yeah, my bad.
What?
Okay.
No,
Yeah, no, my bad.
You know,
my
you
bad.
got to have buy-in from the team. Can the that's a big nest. I'm uncomfortable with
But I do
fighting
think
all of them.
there's an element that I didn't expect at the trade show.
What's that?
There's this chaos element.
Yeah.
So
Which frustrates me.
So here's the thing, right? And I always say, like,
Organized
best
chaos.
laid plans of mice and men. We can sit here all day, and I'm sure. Did Randy motherfuck me yesterday in the truck a few times?
I don't remember what I had lunch for lunch tomorrow.
Okay, so Randy's
I'm
not
running through everything I called you, and I don't think that was one of them. You motherfucker! There we go.
All right, perfect. So here's the thing, right? So we come up with a lot of plans and we talk about it. We say we're gonna do targeted, right? We're gonna stay at the booth until we can get it. It's just not feasible. It's a great in theory. In practice, it doesn't work. You feel like you're hovering and you feel like you're making everyone in that booth feel uncomfortable, and so you move on and you don't do it. Quadrants. Hard to do in a rectangle. Yeah, you can do it, but just the way the show floor is laid out, and
very large.
Some of us are we have relationships with vendors, and when we break it up into those quadrants, those vendors, those manufacturers aren't in that quadrant, and you really want to go see them, and you end up going over there again. In theory, it's great. In practice, it's not.
That's a valid point.
You know,
you have relationships with people that I don't. I have relationships that you.
But then if you don't do that, you're not growing your network. You're not cross-pollinating. And if you did it more efficiently, you would have time to go have a conversation with somebody that you had a relationship with, not necessarily just sit them down for a 10-minute interview and interrogate them.
Let me ask this about that. Do you know how many gigabytes of data, just raw data?
So I didn't get the official number. I did the data dump after we got back today, and then as soon as I got everything offloaded, I came out here and helped set up for this. But yesterday we ended around 330 gigabytes. So I'm going to guess that we're probably going to end up somewhere around 500, 525, somewhere between two main cameras, 4 sets of DJIs, a GoPro, and what's that? Osmo, something like that, and then the Insta360.
And so last year we ran 3 rigs.
We ran 3 rigs, and we ran right around 700.
Right around 700, and I think we hit about the same number of boosts this year as we did last year, with one less rig. With one.
Oh yeah.
So when you talk about efficiency, we are indeed getting more efficient at it. But I honestly think, and I understand Randy's complaints and his concerns with our efficiency.
Constructive criticisms.
Those.
That's what.
That is, sure, we could call it that.
That you ignore habitually.
Habitually, I think we are. I think we are more efficient this year.
It feels weird when mom and dad have to argue.
We're not arguing at all.
Shut up. Go to your room.
No, in the moment, as the child in the group, I'm like, mom and dad are they're just kind of at odds right now. And I just stand there and
never been on a family vacation.
Right.
This is how it's up.
It is. That's
no
exactly
one
how
talks
I feel.
on the drive home. You're like, I just want to get home.
It's gonna be a quiet
truck drive.
No, but we're growing, and we're learning what works, what doesn't work, what needs to be improved, and we have these thoughts and these plans going into it. We're like, oh, this is gonna be perfect. It's gonna all work, and it doesn't. But we get what we want to get, and then we learn from that, and we make adjustments, and you know, maybe when we're doing this 5 years from now, we'll have found our even Pipe dreams. But you
No,
know
I just
what?
don't think
God
Randy's
love
going to be around in 5 years. He's like, God bless the next guy that fuck comes in here and does this bullshit.
Well, so we're all gonna have to like take 30 minutes and rub Randy's knees to make them.
Whoa. It got weird in here. Like,
Randy is uncomfortable.
yeah.
Randy doesn't normally talk about himself in the third person. That's how uncomfortable he is.
You're going to need to go to HR, I think, after this. Tim.
Show me on the HR doll.
Which one of us is HR?
I am.
No.
Yeah, it's even
Yeah.
weirder.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. If you're HR, then you have no problem.
Suck it the fuck up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think we have become more efficient, and I think we'll continue to become more efficient. And as we grow, maybe we can add that third rig back in, and then we're getting even more. I think we have a good pace. I think we have a good cadence, despite.
I really, you know what I really like
forth.
personally from, I would like to have that third rig, and that third rig, it would be nice if that rig could go and focus on like the brand spanking new brands, the ones that this is their first PCA trade show. I do feel that, I mean, I know that our pipe reviewer is on break right now.
Yeah.
But there is a pipe population at the PCA trade show, and it would be nice to give a little bit of exposure to that.
Look at Tim wanting to spread the love to those filthy pipers.
We all have our vices.
No, we do indeed. And I say filthy pipers with love. It looks like we have a comment, Tim.
Nope, we sure don't.
Oh, never mind.
That's
That's hard to see there.
No,
that's purely
That's
StreamYard saying
just-
that.
it's saying that one person has
have,
been talking the entire time. Check everyone else's mics.
Yeah, that's StreamYard saying that you've been
Not
doing
pointing
this.
fingers.
That's
Shit, I
That is
was.
StreamYard
Empty can.
saying that we've been doing this for 45 minutes and we have 0 comments.
Perfect. 45 minutes, 0 comments. Nobody gives a shit. It's fine.
People are
So I
traveling
think
home.
I think
Yeah,
after
really.
that last conversation, I believe the most efficiency could be gained by not talking about a plan. Just refusing to admit the trade show is a thing until we stepped out of the car in front of the exhibit hall. I mean,
I like that.
Just go into it kind of like
let's do what we do every year.
Raw dog it.
Suffer and endure.
We're going to raw dog the trade show.
that's going to be our theme next year.
raw
We
dog.
get sure
They brought up
raw dog.
they brought up today in the announcement or whatever you guys went to.
The press conference?
Yeah, the press conference.
You're welcome.
That's the word I was looking
Yep,
for.
I got you.
About like, hey, focusing on like new vendors that are new to the show. I think that, like a headhunter program would be great for PCA to put together. Hey, you get $100 for as media for the first media team to go interview or showcase like a new.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I'm
horrible.
going to have
But
to
yeah,
agree with that.
I like where your head's at. I really do.
I'm gonna.
That's
You
terrible.
can edit this, right? Like if
No,
I say
it's live.
PCA is good at cashing checks and not writing checks, you can't take that out.
No, can't take that out.
Can't
But that's their goal.
That is
That's
their goal. That's their goal.
But yeah, I think they did their due diligence in their job, and I applaud them for saying, "Hey, get out there, look at these little guys." I
something
think
to take away from the press conference today when they say, "Hey, media, give some love to the smaller brands."
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, hey, here's an idea. Send that email out to the media 2-3
Well,
months out.
Wait.
they have sent
They
first
have.
time. I don't know if they did it this year, but I know in years past they've sent out
First time exhibitors.
first time exhibitor list. And James and I had talked about this in Vegas.
So if
maybe
so
a
if they've
couple
done
years
that, I
ago
didn't see it
about
this year.
looking at some of them.
So I didn't see that this year if they did it.
Well, and look,
delete all those.
this is a phrase I have said more in the last couple weeks than I've said in the last 6 years of the show. Media just needs to do their goddamn job.
Well, that's
Us included.
there was
Us included.
well, yes and no. We're grinding, but there were those.
Everybody's grinding.
Remember, I was like, "Hey, who are those 4 bros? Like, they look like they just came from the gym,
They were
walking around."
small. They're small,
They were
bro.
I don't know. I wasn't looking at them that close, but whatever. But they had media badges on.
Yeah.
I saw them with sacks full of cigars. I never even saw an iPhone out to take a video or anything. I have no idea who they are. There was an individual we ran into first interview, Michael Knowles. I thought he was on the Michael Knowles team. Take 35 millimeter DSLR, taking some pictures, some video with it and everything. And then throughout the trade show, badge was flipped over, no media tag. Second day, I'm sure he was carrying his badge around in his back pocket. Had on a foundation hat, going all over taking pictures. Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't think there's anything wrong with. And it was weird how some media hide their badges or hide what they're doing. If that was a Michael Knowles crew member and photographer, and Michael Knowles was like, hey, I want you to go out, get some pictures, some B-roll of other stuff so we can say we're at the PCA and include that in their stuff, I don't see anything wrong with that.
I don't either.
But there were certain people that shady as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say it.
Shady AF.
I didn't say that.
AF.
We got a lot of shit to pack, bro.
Yeah, look.
Tim's like, we gotta wrap this
Tim's
up.
Like, can we just
we're gonna get uninvited.
Tim's like, I'm not coming
you
back.
We're
doing this bullshit next time.
You asked. We got a lot.
We do have a lot to do to get out of here. We're leaving 3:00 in the morning.
You have no one to blame but yourself, sir.
And I have no one to blame but myself for all of this. All of this. But here's where I wanna leave it. I think overall. If you were going to give, and it's hard to do because the trade show just ended, but if you were going to give the trade show 2025 PCA Convention and Trade Show a grade here in New Orleans, Randy,
a rating? Are we
a grade A through F?
I give her a sweet B plus.
Wow. That was very, very, very generous from Randy. Your first trade show, you don't have any context to other trade shows. Wide-eyed naivete. You've seen how the sausage is made now. What would you rate this show?
Never eat it again.
I'll never eat it again.
I would probably give it an A. The reason I would give it an A is to me, the only way it would be an A plus is if Angels took me around to the booth so I didn't have to walk so much.
Scooter.
If we didn't have to make 2 trips to Walgreens.
Scooters. Yeah. If we could get scooters.
Just not to fit into the stereotype.
By the way, if you work at Walgreens and you called in sick the other day,
shame on you.
I don't know where you live. Down here in Shankarapalooza.
If we could get a Simply Stogies golf cart, that'd be cool.
Never gonna happen, but yeah, that would be nice. Tim,
no, I want to know what your grade is.
I'm sure you do, and you'll find out after.
No. James, you're first. We're working around the circle.
Yeah. I'm the host.
We're going clockwise. You have been usurped, sir. James, you've been doing this 5 years now, 5 trade shows. Your continuing journey as a new cigar smoker.
No longer new.
Newer than some.
Newer than some.
So still new. Depends on who you're talking to.
There's you're a newer than some cigar smoker.
Well, those people, fucking George Burns is dead, bud. So moving along.
Did you start when you were 7?
Like 6. No,
Jesus,
I was drinking when I was 12. And I didn't pick up smoking until I was like, back in my day, Mom would be like, here's 75 cents. Go get me a pack of smokes at the gas station. And you'd take your own 75 cents and get 2. So James, to circle back.
Yeah, circle back.
What now that you're continuing, you're midway, I'll say, through your journey?
Man, what, you think I'm going to die in the next 6 years?
Probably.
God,
I'm hoping I'm not going to make it another 6. Dear God.
Not sure about the next 6 minutes.
The last 6 haven't been the greatest thing ever.
I mean, that's a fair question. And again, I will defer to myself as the host.
Refuse, Tim. Stand up to him. He can't treat you like this. It feels like a mutiny.
It's a mutiny.
I brought it right back to you, and it deviated, detoured.
Fine. As much as I hate to fucking agree with anything that comes out of this guy's mouth.
Are you pointing at him?
Yeah. Sweet B plus, ain't it, babe?
It is a sweet B plus. It really is. It is. It's a very solid first year under the Habursky administration and his vision of what the PCA is and what he's been doing with the president of the PCA and his team. They have. It was the best PCA convention and trade show that I have been to in 5 years.
You know what would have made it an A?
Angels.
Single firework.
A single firework. All right. Well, that's. I mean, that. If Josh ever sees this, he's gonna be like, "That's fucking funny."
Yeah.
No, he won't.
Yeah,
Like,
no, he will.
Poor bastard.
He'll probably have stopped watching within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's more or less.
Yeah, we're down
away from that press conference.
we're down to 2 viewers now. So
Yeah,
You're one of them, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
that's not how that works.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the best trade show I've been to ever, and I don't think it's going to get worse. I think it's only going to get better. I think that there were some folks that didn't show up, that if they had showed up, foot traffic would have been even better. Just retailers who panic bought with the tariff thing instead of coming to the trade show. They panic bought.
Yeah, retailers.
Yep. And look, there were some people that have been in the trade at the trade show every year for the last 5 years that I've seen.
Was there
just didn't show up this year? A lot of them are on the West Coast, and I think they're missing out. I really do. I think they missed out on what is objectively a great trade show.
Do you think they picked up any East Coast traffic?
That's a fair question. I don't know the answer to it, nor do I know even how to go about quantifying that. That's a question I can certainly ask Joshua first.
I would think this is more centrally located. And most places have a direct flight to New Orleans because it's a major city. A destination.
It is.
It's a vacation. It's a party destination.
Honestly, I think to get an A, I think an A+ is probably out of the question. I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect trade show.
Angels carrying me around.
To get an A, it's like the perfect score on a cigar. You can never have a perfect score on a cigar. Something might come along that's better than that. Your perfect score is now no longer perfect.
Whatever.
I don't think that's how the A through F system works.
That's not how it works at all.
That's how mine works.
You send your kid to a school that doesn't give out A's?
As a matter of fact.
You need to change schools because your daughter's not going to college, sir. Not a good one, anyway.
Rails off. That happened in the first 3 minutes of this thing.
What happened in the first 3 minutes?
To get an A, I think if they had something, a place that was more centralized every night for people to go to, like the Circle Bar, the Square Bar in Vegas at the Palazzo, and the.
If they would have had the park open every night.
Every night.
Oh, that would have been
surrounded like half of it food trucks and half of it bar carts.
Yeah. I don't
not open bar carts either. I got cash.
Yeah. No, I that's a great idea, and I wish they would do that. I think people would hang out there till 10, 11, 12.
Pass out.
Yeah, don't kick us out until like
pass out.
Please don't.
Be like, I can't make it. I didn't make it to the show because I'm not. Jimmy didn't, even though I'm gesturing
pointing
towards
at me.
Jimmy.
Yeah, no.
He was saying somebody Instagrammed or something.
Let's not. We're not going there. Tim,
we could all
give us the grade.
I'm on Team Jimmy.
Hey.
Yeah, I'll give it an A. Solid A. Like we've been doing, 3 years in Vegas? 4 years. Right? 4 years in Vegas in a year. This is our 5th show. All right.
You know what? I'm going to waffle. I'm going to give it an A too. The only reason I didn't give it an A, the consideration, because I knew some prick was going to give me some pushback on an A. No, but here's
they could have
done this better, that better.
I think the show.
No such thing as an A.
I think the show was an overall improvement, hands down. Anything that I can even think of that could be improved upon is out of the PCA's control.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Can we get a guess grade? What's better?
No.
All right, let's wrap this up.
No, we can't. Let's wrap this up. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Mile Kentucky Herf, great partners. Again, May 9th and 10th. Go to the show, badash.com/events, and of course, the big sponsor for everything we did this weekend, smallbatchcigar.com. If you want to see our reviews or our interviews, everything we did on the show floor, and you don't want to follow us, and you're already already following Small Batch, guess what? You get to see us. All of our content's going to be uploaded to their YouTube as well. And I hope we did them justice. I think the conversations today were fantastic. Yesterday were fantastic. And Saturday were fantastic that we had with all of the principals and people in and around the industry. And so I want to say a special thank you to Andrew and Dave from Small Batch for trusting us with that. Obviously, they've never seen our lives.
Poor bastards.
Yeah, God, they probably stopped watching this. And I probably have a text message going, "What the fuck?"
Can you block them on social so they can't see it?
No.
You sure?
I don't think so.
Shot.
I want to thank them especially, just the trust they put in us, and hopefully we do them justice. So thank you, Small Batch Cigar. You guys are great. We love you. It was fantastic to meet you this weekend. Go to smallbatchcigar.com. You don't even have to use coupon code Stogies. Just go support Small Batch and what they're doing. They're very invested in small batch boutique craft companies, and they're obviously invested in small podcasts and what we're doing, and they believe in what we're doing. And I'm so thankful for that. Thank you so much, guys. I also, I know I've said this the first day of the live, but I want to thank my entire team. Nick Cirrus, who's not here, he just absolutely killed it this weekend. He did a great job. He really went after it. Got a lot of interviews that are just full of substance and quality. So thank you to him. I want to thank Tim for really making all of this come together. He put together the rigs that we used this year, and really went above and beyond and surprised me with what is we got compliments everywhere. We went on the rig again this year. So I want to thank Tim for all of his hard work over the last few years to make all of this come to fruition, and dealing with what is objectively my bullshit. Pretty much.
Bullshit, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I want to thank my friend Jimmy here from the Drawing Room, brand new reviewer. Check out his content on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. He's just been phenomenal, killing it with those. And he split his time this time at the trade show between media and retail. He went and did his business, and when he was done doing the business, he, put the media badge on and went to work for us, gathering some 360 content for us, and really keeping Randy sane.
Were you kidding when you said you didn't shut that off when you went to the bathroom?
We'll find out.
Good luck with that, Tim.
I took that camera into some weird places, guys.
Can't wait.
Try and get there.
Can't wait.
You're fast forwarding from the bathroom. Real nice.
So thank you. I know spending time away from family for 3 days, especially do this, is not 5 days, I guess the case maybe, is not always the best thing to do, but I appreciate your sacrifice. I know your customers do, and we certainly do as a team. And of course, I have to thank Randy, our content director, who for all of his faults and imperfections,
are many and vast. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Always does a great job for us. A lot of this content wouldn't be possible without him. He was one of our earliest, one of our first supporters, the first lifetime member of the Elite Club.
Yeah.
He's always been very supportive of us. And while he does come across as gruff and boisterous and a little abrasive, he's nothing but a big teddy bear at heart. And so I want to thank him.
You better not end this because it's going to get felonious.
Like a Care Bear.
He really is. He really is. I want to thank you for all of his support and all of his hard work this weekend. Of course, he drove. We got to get him back to his hotel so he can get some sleep so we don't die on the way home tomorrow.
Me out now.
So I want to thank him. And I'm smoking this Padron 60th that I brought from home to kind of celebrate a successful weekend. And I was only going to smoke this if it was something I considered a successful weekend, and it certainly was. And it was not because of me, but because of the team that I have around me and their passion and commitment to making our content what it can be, what it should be for you at home. And I want to thank you guys for watching and going on this PCA journey with us, even though these lives get to be very long, even though in years past they haven't been. I am long-winded. Empty can rattles the most. I apologize, but hopefully you guys find it entertaining and enlightening, and maybe you learn something. And if not, look, tomorrow morning you're going to have a brand new podcast. We're going to talk about the trade show in depth. Myself, Tim, Nick Cirrus. On that podcast, I say we will be back May 1st. I lied. We'll be back April 22nd with Andrew and Dave from Small Batch Cigar. We're going to have an interview with them and find out from an online retailer's perspective what they were looking for at the show and what they saw at the show. And kind of the same thing that we've done here tonight, but in a most definitely more professional way. So I want to thank all of you at home for watching, coming along with us. We'll see you out there. Stay tuned for all of the content coming to you starting Wednesday at some point during the day. It's going to be great. I know you want to hit that end button. Get ready, buddy. For the absentee Nick, for my friend, for my friend Randy, for my friend Jimmy, for my friend Tim, from all of us here in New Orleans.
This would be the perfect time to plug it.